welcome Paris Saint-Germain to the Allianz Arena. We are here with the final training session, 15 minutes or so, of which we're going to bring to you today to give you a bit of an impression of who's ready to play, who's out on the pitch, who we can expect to see tomorrow. I will do my best to tell you exactly who's on the pitch. As you can see, it's not that easy. All of the players wearing scarves and hats, and obviously that can mean only one thing. It is cold and windy here in Munich. Rafinha is there. I can see, is that Franck Ribéry with the ball? Yes. We are expecting everyone basically to be out and about. All of the players that were ready on the weekend, and no one's going to join Bayern Munich as far as I know, at least. You can see, of course, Manuel Neuer is still missing, Thiago is still missing, Arjen Robben and Juan Bernat will be out. Apart from that, I think everybody should be on board. Thomas Müller is there, Franck Ribéry is there. Both of these players returned to the team on the weekend after injuries. You can see the players jumping up and down, warming. Rafinha, he's wearing shorts, but he's not looking particularly happy. Kingsley Coman had some injury issues recently, but he seems to be there. I think the only player I haven't actually been able to locate so far is David Alaba. A couple of youth players in the squad as well, but again, pretty much everybody ready to play this highlight game. Bayern with a, I would say, fairly pleasant situation going into the game. The damage is done, so to speak. It's of course that 3-0 defeat in the first encounter between these two teams still has an impact on this group, and it still means, while Bayern Munich are going past that little hill in the background there is a hill, if not a mountain, to climb for Bayern Munich if they want to overtake Paris in the group and finish in the top spot. Bayern Munich would have to win by 4 goals, 4-0, 5-1, something like that. It seems very unlikely, of course, for different reasons. First of all, Paris Saint-Germain have recorded the best statistic after 5 games any team's ever done. 5 games, 5 wins, 24 goals scored and only 1 conceded. The absolute record for goals scored in a Champions League group stage, it was held by Dortmund with 21 goals so far, so that record's been blown out of the park by Paris Saint-Germain. And so Paris, who sustained their first season defeat on the weekend, a defeat against a promoted team from Strasbourg, that came as a bit of a surprise. Who knows if that's something to do with the fact that the players are already focused a little more on Bayern Munich, or maybe we're experiencing the beginning of a slump in Paris forms, which would come in handy for Bayern Munich, who statistically at least have a, I would say, fairly realistic chance of actually achieving the impossible and beating Paris by 4 goals. At least if you look at the past Champions League games, of the last 16 Champions League home games, Bayern Munich won 7 of them with 4 goals difference or more. So that's a very promising, very good statistic that should make the Bayern players optimistic. They've been there before, they've done it before, but I think what we can all agree on is that it's unlikely that Bayern Munich will achieve that, and therefore I don't really think that's the goal of the players. Of course, Bayern Munich are used to winning. They're used to finishing the group in the first place. Last year they failed to do so, came second against Atletico Madrid. Didn't really matter because they encountered Arsenal in the round of 16, which they pretty much always did one way or the other. We'll see what a second place might mean this season. But again, of course, Bayern Munich want to win the group. On the other hand, as I said earlier, the damage is done, has been done. A couple of weeks back, quite a few weeks back, when Bayern Munich lost by 3-0 in Paris, Carlo Ancelotti's last game. And therefore, the goal, if you talk to the Bayern players, isn't specifically to beat Paris by 4 goals and to overtake them and to win the group. The goal of the Bayern players is to beat Paris, to show them, show Paris, show themselves, prove to themselves, and prove to the football world that Paris is not the favorite to win the Champions League coming out of this Champions League Group B, but that Bayern Munich still is a heavyweight and can still compete with this star-studded lineup. Obviously, Bayern Munich has a star-studded squad as well, but maybe the most spectacular squad, particularly because of Neymar, obviously, is in the French capital at the moment. As I said, we're going to stay on for about 15 minutes. That means we only have a few more minutes left. Bayern Munich warming up here with Holger Broich, and I've now discovered David Alaba too, under a hat and a scarf. I think looking at my sheet here, everyone we expected to see is indeed on. That means only Neuer, Thiago, Robben and Bernat are not in training. Franck Ribéry came on for a couple of minutes on the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. It's a speculation if he can start against Paris or not. Kingsley Coman is currently in fantastic shape, and I assume the natural starter on that left wing. Having said that, Coman has had some injury problems in recent weeks as well. Jerome Boateng played on the weekend. We'll see if he is going to play again or if Niklas Süle will fill in for him. Javi Martinez, who's there in the center of your screen, he came off on the weekend. I assume that was because Jupp Heynckes wanted to make sure that he's fit enough to play tomorrow. But then you have players like Thomas Müller. We'll see. He celebrated his comeback on the weekend. Bayern were very careful in using him and didn't use him too soon. So I can imagine that Müller might play a second game there on Tuesday. But then again, there are other options with James, for instance. Arturo Vidal is certainly in good shape right now. He too is an option for Bayern Munich central midfield. Here's Martinez again. We do expect to see him. But then again, James, who was just on our screen there, I think it was at least, James is also in very good shape at the moment. He's really been proving to the fans and to the experts game after game and week after week in recent weeks why Bayern Munich hired him and what he can bring to the table of a top team. Wonderful shooting and passing technique. The long crosses, the passing, the combination play with his teammates is really quite impressive, I have to say. Mats Hummels seems to be in as good a shape as ever. He's the stronghold in defense. Having said that, though, Jerome Boateng with a very good performance on the weekend as well. Of course, Boateng comes from a long time of injury. Many different muscular injuries in the last couple of years have prevented him from really reaching his peak form again, but he seems to be on a good track. Question, of course, in that area is what will Heynckes do tomorrow? What risks is Jupp Heynckes willing to take? Is he really going to field his absolute top team, hoping that maybe they will achieve the, let's just call it, the impossible and beat Paris by 4 goals? Or is he just going to go, hey, let's try and see what happens in this game. It doesn't really matter. I don't think Jupp Heynckes thinks that way, obviously, but the question is he willing to risk players like Thomas Müller playing the second game within 3 days? The same goes for Jerome Boateng. And so on. And of course, when you have alternatives like Süle at the back, who's been doing very well, you have alternatives to Thomas Müller like James, for instance. Again, Vidal is someone who can play further up the pitch in more attacking position. We shall see. Hermann Gerland and Toni Tapalovic here. Overall, there's plenty of reason for confidence on the Bayern side. Tapalovic should be very happy with his job right now. His the goal coach of Manuel Neuer, and currently he's working with Sven Ulreich, who is having a blinder of a game week in, week out. Really good performances by Sven Ulreich recently. and Bayern will need that on the weekend. A 3-1 victory against Hanover. I think everyone realizes in this squad, though, that if Bayern Munich play like they did against Hanover, they will lose to Paris. They gave very few chances away, but Bayern Munich wasted too many chances, scored 3 goals, should have scored 5 or 6, and could have scored 10 or 12, really. That's something that Bayern Munich need to improve. Here's Kingsley Coman on the left. He was one of the most important men, of course, on the weekend. This is something, in case you haven't watched Bayern Munich train in a while, that's new since Carlo Ancelotti left. Holger Broich is solely responsible for these physical exercises, the warm-up program, the routine outside on the pitch. This all comes, of course, after already having warmed up indoors in the gym, and this extensive warm-up program is something that's pretty new under Carlo Ancelotti. That didn't really happen, at least not to this extent, but Peter Hermann and Jupp Heynckes obviously want to be a little more diligent in that area. You can see, I think Peter Hermann already looks impatient. He wants to get on with it. He wants Holger Broich to stop and have his players at his disposal. But the actual training session, the practice session, the tactical preparations and so on will commence shortly. Of course, we're not going to show you that. This is the final training session. It's a Champions League rule that you have to open the first 50 minutes to the public, and it's customary there to do the warm-up exercises, to play around a little bit, and then when the journalists have left, you close the doors, basically, and then you go into the nitty-gritty of preparations. It's a very, very exciting game that we're looking forward to, and you should stay tuned to the Bayern website and our social media channels in the next 36 hours, should I say. We've got all kinds of programs lined up, news programs, the press conferences. Paris is going to be in town tonight, of course. The press conference is going to be streamed live there. We're going to follow the Paris players as they arrive in Munich. Not quite sure yet what exactly their plan is. As announced, Paris players will go to the Allianz Arena, visit them tonight, and or visit the Allianz Arena tonight, and take a look at that. And if that's the case, then we will certainly be part of them and part of that. Corentin Tolisso is certainly an alternative, an option for tomorrow. Marco Friedl here behind Christian Früchtl. I'm not sure if he's really going to have a chance there. Bayern have problems on that left-back position. It remains to be seen if David Alaba is fit enough to return already. He was on the bench on the weekend, but didn't play. Rafinha, who's in possession right now, did a good job, though, or has been doing a good job for years, I guess, on both outside positions to come back. So again, lots of questions that only Jupp Heynckes can answer, but the good news for the coach is that with the very few exceptions, the ones that we expected and that we knew of, Heynckes and Hermann have all kinds of alternatives to choose from, and Bayern will enter that Champions League game with confidence, with a great deal of confidence. And then we're hoping for a very exciting, entertaining game that kicks off tomorrow, 8:45 CET in the Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich against Paris Saint-Germain. Join us then and stay tuned throughout the next 36 hours for the build-up. Hope you enjoy it, and see you then.